Imagine for a moment your pits smelling like nothing. You don't stink after you work out. Your teenager's foot odor doesn't exist. How is this possible? It's Lumi. Challenge Lumi to keep you funk-free for 72 hours. Go to uglytruth.com/Lumi. You can pick your favorite smell, the favorite type of applicator or stick or tube or wipe, and you will be amazed by your non-smelly body. uglytruth.com/Lumi. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 524. I literally just looked with my glasses, took my glasses off, and could not remember.
I actually remembered.
What the fuck? So goddamn old. Anyway, it's episode 524. I hate being old. Stephanie, I hate getting old so much. I can't even. And I don't even mind aging gracefully.
Right.
I hate the other shit. Like the other day in the backyard, I'm
like forgetting things?
No. It's physically. I'm running around in the backyard with my dog, and I'm playing chase with my puppy dog,
right.
who she's a year, and she's like, rah, rah, and she wants to run around and do the thing, and if you just jerk a little bit, she'll just take off like
right.
a bullet.
It's so fun.
It's so cute. So I'm in the backyard. I have tennies on, I have workout clothes on, and I'm running around, and I'm like, you know what? I am preoccupied with the fact that if I run funny and I twist my knee, it's over.
Oh, God. You're like, my vacation's ruined.
Everything's ruined.
I won't be able to do anything for a month.
And I'm like,
I'll probably have to go to the goddamn primary caretaker.
And I'm like, and the thing is, it's like, I hate that I'm thinking that, because I'm like, I know that I can potentially ruin everything. So now I'm like, you know what? Playtime's over. Because I don't want to fall and hurt myself.
And not to mention the fact that we are so ugly and awkward.
We're so awkward.
And so clumsy.
Oh my God.
That if it's going to happen to anyone, it's going to happen to us.
I've gotten so good at refining potential situations in which I might cause myself grief that I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to do it, because I know. It's like, I'm not even going to do it.
I actually accept the fact that I'm going to do something to make myself look stupid in advance.
I know.
Most likely. I'm
always
like,
in public.
What? So that's one of the things I like about us, though, is like we're so humble.
Oh, I know.
Because it's like the minute you think you're cool,
oh no, you're
going to do something and be like
instantly.
Paula used to always say that. She's like, there's nothing like having a good hair day or a good makeup day. You're walking around, you have like a little bit of an attitude or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, and then you trip and fall in front of everybody. She's like, that'll take the wind out of your sails in 1 minute.
Instantly.
And like, that's why I never get like that.
It happens all the time. The second I told you about, I don't know if you were on the show or not, but I was feeling frisky. I went to the grocery store by myself during the pandemic, and I'm walking out. I've got some swagger, and I'm looking up like an idiot. You'll never see an awkward girl look up, ever. She's always looking down.
You have to.
And I ram into the speed bump in the parking lot, and it's got a rough edge. So it didn't warble over. It stopped dead. I ran into it. I have a line across my shins now, not currently, but I have a line bruise across both shins.
It just smashed into you.
And it almost tipped over completely front end. And of course, in front of all these cars who had to pause and wait for me to cross.
They're like, oh, okay.
And and of course, I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like trying to be all funny about it. And no one's around. They're all their cars just
and no one gives a shit, by the way. Yeah.
They're just like, just move. Would you just go? Yeah. It was the worst. It was the worst. And Daryl goes, this is why I have to accompany you. And I'm like, whatever.
God, I know, right?
I hate it.
This is why we're practically agoraphobic.
Oh, I know.
It's just safer to be at home.
It really is. I was so pleased when I could have things delivered. And I didn't have to go.
Still. Jerry's been bitching. We had this on a couple shows ago about the boxes, remember?
Yes.
I'm like, you're just going to have to endure the boxes like forever.
Yeah, because I'm never going to Target
it's always going to be like this from now on. I'm like, I literally...
If I can save myself, I'm going to.
100%.
Anyway, so there was that. Oh, we were talking about, before the show, we were talking about women who love to tear down other women and how I'm like
Stop
so over
doing
it.
That, please.
Yeah, so over it.
Why does it bring... and I won't say all, but why does it bring a lot of women joy
to hurt
other women?
I don't know.
Yeah, especially like women you don't even know.
I don't know. You know what's funny though is my girls are not like that at all.
Good.
They're so Kenzie came over, my 25-year-old. She came over the other day and she was chilling and we were talking. And for some reason, I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, there's a test that you can take online to find out where you land politically.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
So I took it. She took it. I took it a long time ago, so it's probably changed.
Yeah.
But I took it. She had taken. She goes, well, apparently I'm a socialist. I'm like, God, Mackenzie, really? And she's like, yeah. I go, so you're not just a Democrat. You're like all the way over.
She wants to give everybody everything.
She does, but she has a lot of empathy, and I'm like,
absolutely.
you can't label that in politics. That's different.
Well, I mean, I think with maturity, those things will change because you start to realize the logistics of
it's not possible.
Yeah,
right.
Just
And
monetarily,
so
like how that would
you can't do it.
work.
Yeah, we'd look like Venezuela if we did that. So anyway,
we'd be paying $25 for a 6-pack of beer.
It's crazy,
like Canada.
Exactly. Oh my God.
No,
they come
thanks.
to the United States to buy their booze and go back.
I don't blame them. Who wants to pay $25 for a 6-pack of beer? That's absurd.
Nobody at Costco.
In fact, when you guys went to Canada and you told me about that, I was like, well, I know I'm never going there.
Not to live.
No, not
drive
to live.
in, drive in, bring your own, and drive it in.
That's true.
It's like the ultimate hotel. You bring your own snacks. Don't buy them there. Anyway, so we were talking, and this is what I want to talk about. The female thing is that our mom is quite a conundrum. She's a very confusing. But I mean, why is that surprising? We are too. And
True.
so. She's like, well, what about like grandma? And I said, grandma is a very interesting creature. And let me explain. Our mom is incredibly conservative spiritually. She's a very conservative Christian. However, she grew up in the 60s. I mean, she was a young woman in the 60s.
Right.
She was married and all that stuff.
She was a teenager, early 20s.
Yes, she was in her 20s during all the shit that went down, the Civil Rights Amendment, all that shit.
Hippies.
She was in it.
Everything, yeah.
So she has a very passionate belief system when it comes to racism and the rights of minorities and women because she grew up in that time.
Right.
That's when she was formulating, and that has not changed. So our mom is 71. And so I was telling Mackenzie, my daughter, about it. And I said, your grandma's very interesting. If you asked her, and I've asked her this multiple times and it's never changed. I said, well, what about abortion? And she pauses because she knows
what she should say.
What she should say, but what she believes. And she's like, I think that every woman should do whatever they have to do to get through this life.
Yeah.
And if that means that you need an abortion, they should be able to get it legally and without judgment.
Safely, yeah.
End of discussion. And I'm like, exactly.
I think she speaks from a place of, one, yes, you're right, her social experiences growing up.
Right.
Two, as a young woman who felt very trapped in a marriage.
Right.
Because she kept having babies.
Well, and it's just like, and I was explaining this, and I said, it's really hard for people to remember, because you and I did not have this issue, but your grandparents or your great-grandmothers, marriage was the only option.
That's true.
It was the only
Mom's
option.
admitted to me, although she admits that she's never loved anyone as much as she loved our dad.
Yeah.
She said that to me many times.
Yes.
She also has not shied away from the fact that she only got married at 16 to get out of her house.
Yes.
Because it was so horrible. It was
Yes.
abusive. And it was terrible.
Crowded.
And
whatever.
she had to get out.
So, but for marriage, and I go, and that time, women could not open bank accounts. They couldn't buy houses. They couldn't go to school without permission from their dad or their husband. I'm like, it was really oppressive. So when the Equal Rights Amendment came out, when the Civil Rights Amendment, all that shit went down, it was like freedom. I said, I think our mom was one of the first women to file for divorce. Like, she could not wait.
Oh, it was a huge thing.
It was a big deal.
Well, because she was one of the few women that you didn't have to have a reason. You could file for
irreconcilable.
Yes, differences. When before that,
you had to have a real reason.
You literally it had to be adultery, it had to be abuse. Like, you had to prove to court why you needed a divorce.
Exactly. And you would had to have a man help you with it.
Right.
A dad or someone.
A lawyer,
a male lawyer. So I'm like, so when you look at grandma now, who is,
Yeah, and by the way, Mom had a woman lawyer.
She did. In fact, she was one of the great lawyer.
She was a great lawyer, but she was
so
one of the
good.
very few women divorce lawyers
She
at
was.
the time.
And it was badass. I remember that very well. But so when I'm telling Mackenzie, I'm like, so your generation, it's hard to conceive that you would have to ask permission.
I know, right?
As a grown-ass woman for anything.
I know.
Because those women did all the work. They fought real hard for that shit. So when you see a woman who claims to be very conservative, not when it comes to everything.
That's true.
Because so you just never know. And I
think they're just better at, because of the generation that they come from, they're better at disguising or masking because they were also trained to, you don't say things like that. You're not defiant. You don't have an identity of your own.
No, very
so they
different.
were used to that. But then, like you said, they went through all those hardships
It
to
must
get us
have been
where we are
so freeing.
today. Yeah,
So freeing.
So it's kind of like a split personality for them. It's also a trend that people are becoming parents much later in life.
Yeah.
And it maybe seems weird, but at the same time, it's not that weird. No. It's like not a bad thing.
Well, not to mention, we take so much better care of ourselves.
Oh my God.
Our health is so much different. People used to die in their 50s, and now that's like 50s, like that's just
you're
half
just
time.
getting started.
That's halftime.
I mean, I'm having more fun in my life at this age than I ever did in my 20s.
Same.
I wish I wasn't getting old because I hate the way I look. But other than that, if I could trade my 25-year-old body for the brain I have now, I would totally do it.
In a minute.
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody, and they're just like, if you could go back knowing what you know now, and you were 20, what would you change?
So many things.
And the thing is that for me specifically, the children I have would still be my kids.
Absolutely.
Because they're your eggs.
I would not change my kids.
So whether I kids, whenever I had them, they'd still be the same.
Yeah.
They'd still be a version of what I have now. So that part I don't really worry about too much. But I'm like, God, at 20, I'm like, there are so many men that would say, Jamie, no.
Right.
Stop
I was literally just about to say, I think for me, I wish that I knew my worth then that I know now. You really just don't realize what you're worth or how valuable you are
until you get older.
Someone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Until you get older. And that sucks because you do a lot of self-damage.
So much.
You make a lot of mistakes that you can't change.
It's hard because going back, I mean, honestly, the only things I would change is like how well I would do in school.
Totally.
I
would focus on me.
I don't have a ton of regret.
My family is going to come and I'm gonna owe my life to them basically.
Exactly.
But why not take 5 or even 10 whole years to do me?
I would have loved to have had a nice decade.
Oh my God.
Of that.
Well, everything would be different for me if I had done that because
Same. Oh,
right?
Both
yeah. I mean, I wanted to be a lawyer so bad. Like, why wasn't I?
You still could.
No.
Do it. Do it.
I can't. I'm too old.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Oh my God. Being a lawyer is like being a doctor. It takes forever to get educated.
First of all, if Kim Kardashian can do it,
she hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, but she's on her way.
We'll see if she does it.
I'm just saying. If she can do it, you can do it.
Right.
And California is different.
And by the way, she is a billionaire.
I know.
So she has like 5 nannies to watch her 4 children.
I know, that's true.
And clean her house.
You're not trying to negotiate with a painter. Hey, I gotta do this.
She's got an office that she sits in and tutors and all,
I know, it's so true.
Yeah,
it's so much different for her.
It's gonna be easy for her.
Okay, so the heat is coming instead of Sacramento. The valley is coming. Fire season is coming, and your air conditioner broke.
It did. It's just life. It's like not all that exciting, but it did break. My husband prides himself on fixing almost everything himself, and he's generally successful at doing it. I used to mock him, but now I'm like so grateful.
I know. Just like I'm grateful Daryl can kill animals.
Right. Oh God.
Like what a thing.
That is a thing.
It is a thing.
That's such a thing. Okay, so because mine wouldn't.
I know.
He would be like, we just have to let it lay there until it dies, and we'll come back in 2 hours. Don't watch.
Oh my God.
He's that type.
Do you not remember that Jerry was the only one that would bury the dead kittens at my house?
Oh God.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Our cat had kittens, and
they
because
died.
2 died.
Yeah.
The runt and another one was stillborn, and Jerry came to my house, dug little graves, and buried them, and gave them a little service over by the peach tree.
He is so tenderhearted when it comes to animals.
Yes.
To a fault, because he, if they're dying or they're not ill or they're ill, he can't even like put them out of their misery.
But they're suffering.
I know, but he's like, how could I do them? I can't kill my Frankie. He'll know it.
He'll know.
Yeah, that's him.
Yes.
So anyway, he desperately tried. He's really good at everything, but HVAC is a whole other animal.
It is.
It really is. So it's a reason why it's a specialty. So he couldn't do it. So it was all of what? I think it was 90 yesterday.
It was 95 and then 90. It was insane.
So for us, that's hotter than hell.
It is hot.
For May. Yeah, for early May. And so we suffered incredibly last night. Even though it got down into what, the low 60s last night?
I think so.
Because the wind picked up.
It did.
It got really cool outside, but because he lives with me and I'm terrified of serial killers, we can't open the windows at night.
No, that's how they get in.
Someone will get in.
That's right.
I have to put a stick in my window in the sliding glass door.
That's the East Area Rapist stick.
Yeah.
We all have it.
There's another guy who did that same shit. You know, that was his point of entry.
He died. He died.
The guy that I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, they executed him.
I know. I'm so
He
glad.
fucking died, yeah. So, but anyway, I've seen enough of those shows to where I'm like, you know what, it's not even safe. Like, having a sliding glass door is like a death trap.
It is. It's like an invitation.
So I put a stick in that window, so we're all hunkered down with no windows open and no air conditioner.
And we will live to see dawn!
We did live to see dawn, thank God. But we managed to get someone who we know, because my husband's in construction. We found someone who we knew who has a guy.
Thank God.
I'm going to send my guy over, and just huge favor because all the major air conditioner places were booked for a week.
What a shock, because everybody's air conditioner
Honest
breaks
to
at the
God.
same time.
So I could not get out of there fast enough today to come over to do the show
I don't blame you, man.
because I don't deal with people
Listen,
well.
I was telling you the last time so it's one of two ways for me. We have a guy too, and he's great, and he's helped us many times.
Right.
So he comes over, and it goes one of two ways. I either hover because I don't know if I'm supposed to entertain him. No. Like I stand there, I'm like, anyway, and he's
like, go away.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go. Do you want anything? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right. And so I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like standing in the kitchen.
Just go about your business.
Because Daryl was traveling, so he was like, I had to deal with. I'm so bad at it. I'm
know.
so bad at it. Or I'm like, I'll call Daryl. He's like, what? I go, someone's at the door. I think it's the guy. Because
well, let him in.
I'm hiding in my room. Like, I am not going down there. He's like,
right.
Oh, God. So he gets up. He's like, hey, man, how's it going?
I'm that way. Yeah, somebody knocks on the door. I'm like, how dare you?
You need to get a ring. You don't even have a camera.
I do have a camera.
Do you use it?
Oh, God, I have cameras all over my house.
Inside?
I have 4 cameras.
Inside?
No, they're all outside.
Oh, okay.
All my cameras are outside.
I think it's weird when people have cameras in their house.
Not in the house.
I don't like that.
I don't know why they do that unless
Daryl
they have
wanted to
people
do it.
in for
Daryl wanted
some
to
reason.
do it.
No.
When he's like, well, I travel so much. He's like, I thought I'd put a camera in the kitchen. I'm like, I don't want you seeing what I'm doing. What if I'm walking around being myself?
Yeah, like, right?
He's like, well, I want to see it. I'm like, no.
No. I mean, unless you have, like, really young children, you have, like, help that comes in.
That'd be one thing.
That's one thing. But, I mean, if it's just you.
I'd have teddy bear cameras.
Yeah, I would too. Like, if I had small kids and I had babysitters coming over.
Oh, my God. And
absolutely.
dear Lord, I'd have to have live stream the whole time.
I would be like, I
don't think I could do it because I'd have it live streaming constantly because if anything went wrong, I would immediately drive over and commit murder.
Kill, yeah. Right.
So it'd be really hard.
As someone in the position of having a husband who is inside your home when he's doing his job,
yes,
and you know him, but you don't know him.
No, you don't know
we all
him.
feel a little weird when you're having someone that's doing work inside your house.
Dude, I've had every single man who's come through this house to fix something flirt with me.
Right.
Every single
is so
one.
Terrible, by the way.
Every single one.
God, it's just literally the worst. Well,
okay, well, let me tell you, the dishwasher guy was really, really cute.
I
But
mean,
it doesn't matter.
Cute, it's so creepy. Well, I don't like it. I mean, unless I know you or we've been doing business with you for a long time, it's awkward to me. I hope that I can say this with certainty that I don't believe my husband is one of those people.
No.
He really prides himself because he does deal with the wives a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has a high-end clientele.
Right.
So the male counterparts to these clients are usually doctors or lawyers or someone who works a shit ton of hours, and they're like, no, you will fucking deal with the house. That is your job. Ugh. So the wives are Jerry's BFFs, you know?
Yes, because he does such great work.
He does great work. I think they don't feel creepy around him.
No, because he's respectful.
When he's there, they trust him. They don't have to, and so I know what it's like. But
Maybe
I also know. No, I also told him that you must assume that there is a camera on you every second when you're in there.
Oh, for sure.
So don't pick your nose. Don't itch your butt.
Don't fart.
Don't
burp.
Yeah, don't take a shit in their bathroom.
Oh, my God.
He would never. He's so private. He has literally come home at 10 in the morning and been like, I couldn't stay. Like, I had to come home because I had to go to the bathroom. Like he'd be like, well, they didn't have the paint at the paint store, so I gotta go. That's how bad he is. So,
that's so
but
funny.
anyway, but other people are like that. He's like, there's times where there's other contractors doing different jobs, and he's like, I'm in there painting the laundry room. I'm doing my thing. The electrician's there. He's down the hall. Next thing I know, I'm like, what is that smell? He's like, he's like, it was a mixture of like skunk and burning rubber. He's
what?
Like, I couldn't figure it out. And then he's like, so I come down, and here comes this guy out the bathroom. He's like, oh, you might not want to go in there for a minute. And Jerry's like, oh my God. He's like, how could you? He's like,
that's awful.
He's like, and this is Cecilia. It's like one of his clients. She's like 5 pounds wet. Her husband's a doctor. She's very pristine, And
you just
he's like, I was just praying she didn't come home because I didn't want her to think it was me.
A giant electrician douche in her dump in her bathroom.
Like, that is so repulsive. Who does that?
I don't know, man. I have never had. I don't know if I'll ever have an opportunity to have several people working.
These are rich people, yeah.
But I mean, is this a porta potty situation, or is that like disrespectful?
No, I think
I'd be like, if you're gonna take a giant shit, out the door, mister.
I mean, I think that's one of those understood things that you should just know. You know what I mean? Jerry has been painting for this family for 25 years.
Yeah, so he knows you don't.
He knows he can pee quickly, and it's fine. Cecilia's not going to be like, how dare you?
She's like, did you really take a giant shit in
He would never take a shit.
No, I'm this other person.
But yeah.
You know what? If that was me and that happened, I would come out with a Febreze. I'd be like, psst, psst, psst.
I'd
be like, really? Can we get the fans out here?
Oh my God, I'd be humiliated. Like I said, he just didn't want to be blamed because if she would have come home, she wouldn't have known who did it.
Well, is there anything worse than going into a bathroom when it smells and then you leave and someone walks in and you're like, it wasn't me?
It's one thing when you're at like a place of business, like my job, my office is huge. We have several bathrooms that are multi, stalls. Mm-hmm. So when you come in, it's like, you can't really blame any one person because there's 20 stalls and who knows who did it and who knows when.
I hate that.
Right? I hate it too.
I hate that.
But if you're working in the homeowner's, situation, you don't go in their bathroom.
Change your routine.
My God. I mean,
drink your coffee at 4 a.m.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it.
That's gross, man.
Like Paula said to you one time, she's like, I don't understand you people who can smell up a bathroom so badly that, it requires a fan or a window. She goes, for me, a good strong smelling soap and it's gone. And I'm like, well, that's because you freaking are celiac disease.
She eats nothing. She poops like bird poo. There's like nothing in it.
I'm guessing so.
It's like nothing. It's like a little worm.
Like, okay, this is not a conversation I want to have, but seriously, like,
God.
I haven't had a smellless poop since I was like 5.
I can't even remember. And if I did, I'd be like, I am ill.
Something's wrong.
Like, something's bad. It has to be that bad.
Have you ever Googled colored poops, like different colors, just to make sure that you're not having like an intestinal issue?
Okay, I made a huge mistake. I Googled poo shapes.
Oh, shapes. Oh, God.
So I don't know. I think I really can't remember because I'm sure I blocked it out because I'm so embarrassed for my own self even. But I remember one time, I think I went to the bathroom and I had a bowel movement and it looked different.
And you're like, oh God.
You're like, why did it go like that? That's
I have a blockage.
So I Googled it. They're like, what does it mean when it looks like this? And it's like, oh, you probably have a cancerous polyp.
Oh my God.
Or you have, some kind of blockage or something like that. And you should probably contact your daughter immediately. Your doctor.
When to call 911.
Right. And I was like, oh my God. They're like, if it's dark color, if it's black, you're bleeding, and all this shit. I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm like, so now, of course, I'm anxious. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to call, obviously. It wasn't that alarming. It was just different than normal. And so I waited. And then the next day, for Stephanie, a month and a half, I looked at my poop.
Just to make sure.
Just to see, is it the same? Is it kind of the same? I don't even know. Is there bleeding? Am I bleeding?
I don't understand what is wrong with us that we do these things because Paula has the same issue. We all have it.
It's so
I don't know
weird.
if Allison has it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
She's kind of like mom to where I think if there's anything bothering her, she just goes to the doctor like all the time.
I don't understand people who utilize medical services like a normal human being. It's so weird to me.
Me, it has to be something repetitive that goes on for a long time and doesn't go away.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm like, okay, it was just, okay, you're fine.
Well, like, mom is like, if it lasts 10 days, go to the doctor.
Right.
That's what she always says. She goes, if it lasts 10 days, go to the doctor.
It depends on what it is. Yeah, I mean, but if it's something where I'm in excruciating pain, I'm not waiting 10 days.
You don't wait 10 days.
But,
Well, for me, like...
well, I mean, good Lord. I have
to be wheeled in through the ER to go to a doctor.
In agony.
Because I'm like, help me.
With your intestines dying within you. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with us.
We're so weird. I'm terrified. All done it. Although what's funny is if I have a toothache and I look at my mouth, this was when I was younger, and I had a cavity, I would get so much anxiety that I would call the dentist immediately. I'm like, help, I have a cavity.
Oh
like God. It was like a bullet wound. I'm like, I need this fixed instantly. And I would get in like immediately. Oh, by the way, I told you, Dr. My dentist retired.
She had to say it again because it was so traumatic.
It was so traumatic.
You're like, I'm still not over it.
No, and he's gone. He's done. Yeah, it's over. Done. History. I'm just so...
Everybody listened to this episode 2 episodes ago, but here we are. She's still mourning the loss of her
I think about him way too much.
Oh my God, stop it.
Not in a sexual way. Just like...
But she's smiling when she's talking right now.
No.
Yes, she is.
But I'm just like, they called me the other day and they're like, well, we're just going to set up an appointment. So your next exam will be with this new doctor, blah, blah, blah.
You're like, no.
And I'm like, is that the new one? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, and she's very like, yes.
Because yes, accept it.
Yeah. And I'm like,
you know how many times she's probably had to have that conversation since Dr. Riak retired?
Dude, I'm one of the youngest patients Dr. Riak had.
Yeah.
And
old people are even worse.
Oh, yeah.
They really like their normalcy and their...
Oh, my God.
Their routine.
So, and this dude is like my age. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
So he's clearly a quack because he can't possibly qualified if he's your age.
How can you be a dentist at my age? That's crazy.
Well, I hate it when the doctors come in. It's always in the ER, too.
You're like,
when the
hi,
doctor walks in and you look at him and you're like, for Christ's sakes, are you 30 yet? How? Is this possible? I'm like, God.
Oh,
you don't know anything. You can't, Sonny.
How is that possible?
I'm going to hit you with my cane.
So true.
Right?
Oh my God. Okay, so really quick, we are recording this on a Friday, and so you and I will probably have cocktails this evening. I would assume.
Absolutely.
I know I am.
I'm gonna stop by some store and purchase something for this evening. I haven't decided what yet.
I know. Last night, it's been a very stressful week. Our mom has been in and out of the hospital, and it's all on the up and up. It was all scheduled. But it's been a bit stressful, and I've been struggling a bit. And so, Daryl, last night...
Well, and to be fair, you're going on vacation in a week, and you're leaving the state, and I get a fair amount of anxiety, even if I'm really excited.
Stephanie, I have not stopped thinking about the flight.
Like, yes.
I mean...
Well, it runs the gamut for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's leaving the house. Yeah. It's forgetting something. It's what if something happens while we're over there. I mean... I don't know why. But
I have mentally prepared the fact that one of my dogs is going to get sick or die.
Yeah.
Because that always happens. God. It always happens. One time, we took the kids to Disneyland. I mean, this was 100 years ago. And Mom, she must have been spry back then. And she agreed to watch our house. And she's like, all she had to do was, because we only had the one cat at the time. She's like, I said, the cat has had antibiotics, but he's done, so don't even worry. You don't have to feed him. I would never make another person give a cat a pill.
No, right?
I'm like, just
especially a non-cat person like Mother.
Yeah, I said, all you have to do is just make sure he has food and water. He's got a litter box. He's good. He's good. But he's going to stay in because he prefers it anyway.
Yeah.
So we come home 4 days later, and I go, how did everything go? She goes, well, the first day I came over to check on your cat, and he had diarrhea all over the laundry room.
Oh, God.
It was everywhere. She goes, so I had to clean everything. And I was like, oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
That's so typical, though.
She goes, and he ran away and hid, so I have no idea if he ate or drank. I just continued to make sure there was water and food, but I'm hoping there's no diarrhea under your son's bed. And I'm like, I can't even believe it. And every time we go away,
it's something.
An animal has thrown up or is peeing blood.
I think that's our life all the time, and we just don't think about it.
We don't.
Because we're used to something like that happening, but then you go away and somebody else is burdened with it, and you're like, oh my God.
When we went somewhere, and all the kids helped take care of the house because we have a lot of pets and everything like that. And so I said, so how'd it go? They're like, we are exhausted. We're so glad you're back.
You're like, welcome to my world, you little
day to day. It's true. They're like, this house is so big, Mom.
We're gonna go. We talked about it on my last hotel review. It was so difficult trying to decide what to do. Yeah. Because I actually Allison has a stepson who is grown.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
He's 19.
Yes.
All right. And because of pandemic, he hasn't been able to go to school, and he's kind of trying not to get a job because he wants to go to school, and so he doesn't want to, you know, so whatever. She had been complaining to me like, Alex is making me crazy, and I was like, hey, you know what, send him over. Would you let him house sit for me?
Yeah.
He'd have the whole house to himself. He's perfectly capable. He's 19 years old. He's not a child.
Right.
And all he has to do is feed my animals, you know. I'll leave a list. Exactly what
everything.
Well, she's like, absolutely, yes, that would be great. And I'm like, I'll pay him, you know. Yeah. So as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, someone will throw up. Yeah. Someone will piss. Yeah. Someone will shit in a corner somewhere where you'll smell it and you can't find it. I'm like, all those things will happen and he won't know what to do, nor will he want to. He'll be like, I am not cleaning up vomit with slime in it. And a big old chunk of I don't know what, you know, because your cat is like...
Because cats are gross.
They are gross. You know, and I'm
so
like,
did he do it?
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
So what did they just did?
We took them with.
Oh,
we took the dogs. I should have mentioned that in my review. The Argonaut Hotel is a 5-star hotel, and they do allow pets.
That's good.
So that is why we went there.
Luckily, your dogs aren't that big. But
no, they're not big, but it's still a pain in the ass.
God.
You don't realize what a pain in the ass it is until at 5:30 in the morning, and you're on the 4th floor of the hotel, and your dogs are crying because they have to pee and
you're
shit.
Like, God damn it.
Who's going to get up, put your clothes on, put your shoes on.
In the city.
Put your hair in a pony because you can't go outside down to the lobby.
No.
Past the bellman and the front desk, looking like you
just got pulled from a drain.
No, and by the way, San Francisco people are strange. All these rich bitches and these doctors are out jogging, looking absolutely fucking flawless at 5:45 in the morning.
Why?
Because it's gorgeous right there at the waterfront. It is
beautiful.
And they're running.
And it's actually, you know what's interesting about San Francisco is it's warm at 5 a.m.
It is.
It gets cold when the sun comes up. It's so weird.
It was weird. Well, the wind comes up in the afternoon.
Lovely. God, I fucking love the city.
It's amazing. But yeah, you're right. It is actually.
Oh my God. Totally forgot to tell you. We went like a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah, I think it was last weekend.
The Van Gogh full immersion thing. I don't know if you saw the videos on my Instagram. Did you look at them at all?
But I didn't.
Briefly.
I didn't look at it enough to know that you went to the city, but you told me you went to the city. I was like, oh, you went to the city.
It's this full immersion thing in San Francisco. It was super arty. And so it was funny is we paid extra money to get the VIP.
Right up your alley.
Well, I just wanted to go. I'm like, let's just get tickets and go. I don't really care about all the extra fancy shit. I just want to see the installation.
Daryl always wants to give you the best experience that he can.
So he goes, well, I got us VIP. I go, well, what does that mean? Because I'm like, I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything.
I don't want to have lunch with the curator.
Yeah, I don't want to have like a meet and greet or, you know, cocktails with strangers. I just want to go and enjoy the installation. Yeah. That's it. And he goes, no. You get a cushion because everybody's in circles so that because it's all socially distant, and you get a cushion to sit on, and you can take it home with you.
You get to keep it, right?
You get some tchotchkes, which I really didn't want. But
what's that?
Like posters and shit. You get all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
And
like
then
reading material.
He goes, yes. He goes, but then you get a flex pass, which means that you have a 2-hour window from your start time. So it's like we had to be there at 2:00. But we have till 4:00 to show up.
Oh, nice.
And when you don't have that, you have to be there at 2.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. I'm like, well, that's really good because we're driving in, and you never know with traffic.
And I'm like that.
Yeah, I'm never on time.
I'm not time for anything. No.
So we show up at like 2:18. We found somehow we found an alley and there was parking, and it was like we were literally parked at the building, which never happens.
Not in the
so
city.
We get in. There's a long line, and I said, "Well, we have VIP, right? So we don't. Is this the VIP line?" And he's like, "I don't think so." So we walked up, and he's like, "Hey, we're VIP. Do we have to wait in this line?" He goes, "No." So he lets us right in.
Sweet.
And he goes, but it's full. No one's leaving. So if you want to wait in here, that's great, but you don't have to wait in line. We're like, okay, cool. So we just meandered around. We got all of our, things. They gave us some posters, and they're like, well, what about the cushion? They're like, we're
out of them.
We're not doing the cushions anymore because people were renting them and stealing them. And so we ultimately...
You people are such assholes.
Well,
why do they have to ruin everything?
I know.
God.
So they said, so here's $40 in gift shop credit because there's a gift shop at the end. I'm like, all right, cool. And I love Van Gogh, so who knows?
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sure you could find something.
Oh, yeah, we did. I'll show it to you when you leave.
I would have got a shot glass, but of course.
They didn't have those. They had masks. They had posters. So I got a cool poster of a skull that I really loved.
Oh, neat.
And then I got the complete works of Van Gogh. It's this
almost a book?
It was like $130.
Love.
But because we had all this credit, we got it for nothing. And it was awesome.
That's so great.
Anyway, so the whole thing was really great. But it's a 40-minute thing. So it's like a film, but you're literally immersed in his paintings, and
Neat.
it was all animated, and the music was opera and these cool like
Oh my
weird new
God,
agey shit.
That sounds amazing.
I loved it. Took a bunch of videos and photos and stuff like that. But it was only 35-40 minutes. And so you can stay as long as you want. You can watch it as many times as you want.
but-
So I watched it, and I turned to Daryl and I said, "Do you want to watch it again?" And he goes, "We don't have to." And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Well, I mean, we saw it.
I'm done.
We're done. I'm done.
I'm over it.
And I go, "I realize you paid a lot of money for us to come here, and it took us 2.5 hours to get here. So I feel like, do we have to stay and
Like to get our money's
get
worth?
our money's worth?" I'm like, "Do you want to do that?" He goes, "Well, we can if you want to." I'm like, "I really don't want to."
Like,
And
I'm totally
I'm like,
fine.
I saw the line, and I saw it, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, it was beautiful, and I loved it.
Really
but
glad I did it.
let's go. And so we left, and then people immediately like ran to our circle because it was like there were so many people.
Right.
And I mean, it wasn't crowded, but people were standing.
I mean, like, but I think that's the right thing to do. If you're done and you saw
done.
what you want, yeah, let's.
I don't need to be selfish.
No.
So we left, went to the.
I mean, if
we
you
did all
really
that.
wanted to see it again, then fine, stay. But I mean, if you were like over it,
Yeah, I mean, I was moved and I was inspired, but I'm like, I'm done. So we left, and then we drove. We crossed the Golden Gate Bridge instead
so
of going.
pretty. We did that too.
Oh my God, I forgot
beautiful.
how much I love that part
It's
of
just
town.
gorgeous.
Well, that's like near the Argonaut. All that area
Yes.
is so beautiful. So we're getting ready to hit the Golden Gate, and we're by the avenue of
Yeah.
what the fuck is that called?
Uh,
Not we did go down Lombard Street,
Yeah,
but
you
it
do
was
to get there,
the
but,
California, the art thing where there's
oh yeah,
Just gorgeous.
The exploratorium, the
All that stuff.
planetarium,
All that's there.
It's something the science.
Golden Gate. There's
Yeah.
a Golden Gate Park that begins
Yes.
there. Anything.
The Japanese tea gardens are
Everything.
there. Yeah,
so
it's
you
really
drive,
beautiful.
you don't see all that, but you're driving by that.
Yeah.
And like Tom Hanks lives there. Robin Williams lived there.
Right.
Like that's the kind of
Tiburon.
well, no, that's on the other side of the
Well,
bridge.
Robin Williams lived in Tiburon.
Yeah, but
I know what
just
you're talking
meant
about.
that
That general vicinity.
it's where all the rich people are.
Well,
all
no
the celebrities.
Yeah, everyone who lives in San Francisco proper
Yeah.
is fucking filthy rich.
That's true. So he goes, I wonder how. And there was like the delay, so we were waiting to get onto the bridge. And he
Nancy
goes,
Pelosi lives there, for Christ's sakes.
she sold her house.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Does she still live in the city though?
I don't. Well, I mean, she has to. Isn't she a representative? Oh no, she's not. She's
yeah.
a DC person now.
Well, she's this. This is our naivety.
Naivete?
We're having issues with speaking today. I don't know what it is. Algorithm. Sugar.
Sugar.
And so yeah, mine
Penelope.
continues.
Yes. Anyway, so he goes, I wonder how much the houses are around here if there's anything for sale, just because we like to look at real
Oh
estate.
God, it's fun.
So we turned on
Zillow and
I hit
Google.
Zillow immediately. I go, oh sure, there's one for $39.5 million just
I
down the
know.
street, babe.
Let's go look at it.
Let's go. And he's like, what? And I go, oh,
If it's easy to get to, I will.
here's a cheap one. It's only $13.3.
Yeah. Oh, it's dumb.
And it's a shack.
For sure.
And it's like, wow. God.
It's so fun, but yeah,
It is fun.
right. So I mean, I've always wanted to like Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the only way I would ever see a place like that. Actually, the same client I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier, they own a house
What?
right there in North Beach. Yep, it's right there, and it's huge. It's like,
Do they live in it?
no.
Oh, my God.
No, they let their daughter was going to college there. They let her stay in it, where she was going to college.
If
They don't rent it out though.
If the zombie apocalypse ever came, I would go there.
Well, they go there if they want to go to the city. They have another house, so they just stay there. You know what I mean? Because
God.
they don't rent it out or anything.
Save so
But
much
they
money.
have, because I think when you get to a certain status, you do get your circle becomes smaller.
Oh, yeah.
To an extent.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you have to have work done at your properties because you don't know who to trust.
don't
And everybody
know.
thinks you're so rich that you can just blow money and they'll try to rip you off.
That's true. That is
Well,
true.
so because of that, Cecilia was like, Jerry, I have a huge favor to ask you. She's like, you can say no. And she's like, would you please go to our condo in San Francisco and paint it? The
Oh.
inside.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, God, I don't know. She's like, you can stay there. There's a place
like,
for you to.
please,
We have a
Jerry.
garage. You can park, which is huge in the city.
Like, well, I guess I can do it.
He did it. I was
Did
like,
you
you
go?
better fucking go. No, I didn't go.
Oh, my God.
I didn't
Stephanie.
go. Actually, I went with him to do the estimate.
I
and
would've
we
gone.
ended up making a weekend out of it. I'm like, well, we're here,
Well, Daryl does that too. We'll go to Napa and I'll be like, God, I wish we weren't leaving. He's like,
Let's just stay. I know.
Suddenly we're like, I guess we're staying the night.
I love doing that.
I do too. It's my
But I
favorite.
didn't actually go for the actual job. But
Aw.
it was great. He had a fun time.
Oh man. Anyway, so yes, you and I both love the city. It's so fun to
Yeah.
go, and I always feel so at home there.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Well, it's because
but
we've been going there our whole lives.
Well, and we are from the Bay Area, and so
True,
you
true.
know, I just think it just feels.
I
Like
mean,
the vibe feels like more. I told him we
agree.
were leaving, and I would never live in the city ever. I
Well,
have no
I couldn't
desire to do
afford
that.
to.
But live the way I would want to live,
Right.
of course. But I told him when we were leaving, I said, you know what? I go, whenever I come to the Bay Area, whether it's Napa or San Francisco or San Jose, any of those places, I feel like these are my people. Like, this
Right.
is my tribe.
100%.
And then I go to Sacramento, I'm like, I don't belong here.
No, you don't.
I don't belong here. I'm like, it's lovely here, but I don't.
Yes.
I don't belong here. Like, my people are somewhere else. I want to be with my people.
I know, it's so true. But what's so funny is that they're saying that the people from the Bay Area, which they've been doing this for decades, it's nothing
please.
new, come here and buy our properties
Yeah.
because it's so much cheaper.
And
then
they sell them and
commute
move
to
back.
Yeah, well,
They-
or they commute to the city
But
and
they
make
move
the
on.
money. And
They just move on to Seattle
Yeah.
or whatever. I know they've been saying that forever. Oh, there's a mass exodus and they're all buying our houses. I'm like, well, they've been doing that forever.
That's not new.
It's not new. It happened in the 70s. It's happening now because of the pandemic, and it'll happen
Yeah.
again. So whatever. Anyway,
The
okay.
bubble will burst.
Speaking of cocktails, we need
yeah.
to do our good, bad, and ugly. We haven't done one in so long now.
Yeah.
Daryl was thinking we might have done booze, but I don't think we have. So we're doing.
Well, if you haven't done it with me.
That's right.
And Paula's not a big drinker.
She's a pill popper. She doesn't do.
Well,
booze.
I mean, she's never been a drinker.
No.
Like, she's always, yeah.
So we're gonna-
because she's a control freak.
So the good, the bad, the ugly booze edition. So good cocktail or booze.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Like a liquor.
anything.
Well, I mean,
When you think of good, you something comes to your mind immediately.
so
everybody
I
does.
I think most of us have a staple liquor.
Yeah.
That if you don't know what to order or you're at a
You know what to
friend's,
get.
you have a go-to, right?
Yeah.
So everybody knows mine is rum. But if I am going to go out, like if we're at a restaurant or, we're out of town on vacation or something, I don't want to just get a rum and Coke or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do that
'cause-
anywhere.
Right, I do that at home. So
Yes.
I recently, and this has been a, what do you call it? Like,
Cyclical?
yeah, it's cyclical. It's like I go through phases
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah,
I
for
drink
sure.
them all the
Same,
time.
same.
And then I just like, okay, I don't need to have another one for like 10
Done.
years. Yeah. So lately I've been really getting into micheladas.
Get the fuck out of here!
And because I'm older now, micheladas aren't just like, I can't, tomato juice and a Budweiser is
No.
what, to me, that used to be like the shit. Now it has to be like a chili coated straw.
Oh,
And,
fancy.
yeah, and chili flaked sea salt on the rim of the glass,
Almost like a
and-
Bloody Mary.
and a pickled asparagus spear.
Of course.
Like all the good things that
My mouth
you
is
would
watering.
want. Yeah, I know, right? And if you go to a decent Mexican restaurant, which we have bazillions of
million.
them in here in
Yes.
Sacramento, it's really become like a craft. Like who has the best michelada in town?
Interesting.
And I love it because I'm like, I'm happy to try them all.
I will be your guinea pig.
So everywhere I fucking go these days,
Roll
I'm
michelada,
ordering
please.
a michelada. And
Por
Jerry's like,
favor.
what's a michelada? I'm like, shut up. I'm like, just watching. You'll never drink it, so why do you care?
Yeah, really. It's like,
Yeah.
it's red. You'll never have it.
No, right? So, but meanwhile, I could literally just have that be my food. Like, I don't even
yeah.
have to order a plate
Oh, yeah.
of food. I'm just like... And it brings me such joy to
like,
drink
I
it.
love it.
So, right? So ask me 5 years from now if I'm still drinking micheladas. I don't know. But right now, it's my thing. It's my jam. And I'm
That's awesome.
loving it.
Well, for me, my good one right now is when I'm out, I have to try their house gin and tonic.
God.
They're my
See,
favorite.
I've still never had one.
What?
Never.
Okay, when we go to Napa.
Jerry's like, you'll hate it, Stephanie.
won't.
Gin is so disgusting.
It is not. When we go to Napa, when we go to Bottega, they have, it's called the Big Bear Gin and Tonic.
Okay.
It is so fucking good.
Okay.
You will, they have
I
it,
believe you.
has
I
it-
really want to try it.
it's floral.
I thought I would try one here sometime, but
Yeah.
we've not gathered and had cocktails in a while.
You know what? We will.
Yeah.
You're getting vaccinated, right?
I got my first shot.
How do you feel?
I felt
How's
good.
your third arm is okay? It's all.
My third arm is fine. I told my daughter and I were talking about it because apparently her father is gone down the rabbit hole of it being a conspiracy. Yeah, she's really disappointed. I was
too
actually really
bad.
surprised because
Me
he's
too.
quite intelligent.
I'd be like, are your children vaccinated with other things?
Right.
I gotta
So he
understand.
won't get it, but my daughter did.
Good
Her and
for
her
her.
husband both have gotten it. And so I was telling her about mine. And I go, well, I can assure you, Lauren, when the guy was putting the needle in my arm, I did not see a microchip in the syringe.
Bill Gates is not interested in doing that.
Right.
He's
I
already
said,
got you. He's got your on your phone.
Thank you. Yeah. Google has you. Are you kidding me?
Everybody's got you.
So, yeah. So anyway, I did have it. I felt great. The shot itself was the most painless thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh my God.
Teensy little needle.
I didn't even feel a pinch. Nothing.
I barely felt it.
I tried to make friends with my guy, of course.
Same.
I don't know why
I do
that.
the
It's so
same thing.
Stupid. I'm like, hello. And he's like, hi. And he's going through his rigmarole.
My nurse was gorgeous.
Mine wasn't gorgeous. He was a guy. He was a
and I was with my 66-year-old husband, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. He was all swollen and wrinkly, and here I am like, who am I fooling? I'm sure I look like fucking dog shit. Because I never go anywhere at the crack of dawn.
Oh my God.
So anyway, yeah, it was fine. It was great. I did have a little bit of a reaction. It was mostly just exhaustion.
Really? On the
which
first
was very
one?
strange.
Okay, Stephanie, you know what they say, that if
you've had COVID.
you've had COVID, you're going to have a reaction the first time around.
Yeah, and
So
maybe
you
the second
obviously
time
had.
too.
Well, you'll have it both.
Yeah.
But people who did not have COVID tend to not have any kind of weird reaction. But if
Right.
you have, you get a weird reaction.
So I've heard. Yeah.
I mean, I got my first shot and I was like, okay, well, here we go. This will be the test.
it wasn't immediate though.
No, it was like
for me, it was like 6 to 8 hours later.
For me, it was the next day. My arm was really sore, which everybody's is.
I know, right?
Like really sore.
Mine was too.
But
it was like somebody
also
shot me with a paint bullet.
I got a very weird headache.
So did I.
And
That was the only other thing.
I got a very weird headache and I felt really like woozy and out of it. I never
Yeah.
felt sick or anything like that. I just felt like not right. And I'm like, am I just
Yeah.
making this up?
Right?
I wasn't sure.
Me too.
So I don't know. But
That's when I talked to Lauren, I go, you know what? Because when I talked to my daughter, it had only been about an hour since I had done it. And she's like, well, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel totally fine. I go, but you know what? I'm not going to do that to me because I will do it.
Yes.
Where I'll be like, oh my God, is this a symptom? I'm like, so I'm just not
Everybody.
going to think about it. I'm going to
No.
go about my day and just pretend like I didn't even do that thing this morning.
Right.
And that way, if something does happen, I'll be like, okay, it's legit. I'm not just like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I had COVID or not. I mean, I feel like you and I did.
Yes.
Because of your son.
Or we're exposed.
We
may
were
have been,
exposed. I don't know if we actually
asymptomatic.
got, because I never lost my taste or
Neither did
anything.
I.
So I don't know, man. Whatever. Anyway, okay, so good. Gin and tonics, my go-to whenever
Okay.
I don't
so
know
those
what
are
to
your
get.
good, huh?
That's my good. Like when I'm at home, it's champagne.
Right.
But when I'm out, I want a cocktail. It's gin and tonic. You
Okay.
can't go wrong with them. They're the best.
Is there like a specific liquor brand?
I like Hendrix.
Okay.
A lot. But I'm always game to try their crafted gin and tonic at a
Okay.
place. Like if they have one, I'm
Right.
trying it. One time we went to Cattleman's. It was like 5 years ago.
We were
And
just talking about going there.
And I'm like, I don't know why I wanted to go there. There's only one around here and it's meh. But the food is what it is.
Well, it's a steakhouse.
But it's old as fuck.
Yeah,
and so
it
we
is.
walk in and they're like, well, your table's not ready yet. We're like, all right, so you can just go and there's a bar. So we walk in and this huge cavernous area where people can
Right.
have food or whatever. So we sit down at a wagon wheel coffee table and the lady comes up, she goes, what would you like? I'm like, I think I'll have a gin and tonic. She's like, oh, okay. It comes in like this teeny tiny hotel like sipper glass.
like the kind you use to rinse your mouth out when you brush your teeth.
Yes. But it was strong as fuck.
It was just all gin.
And I was like, God damn.
Well-
and it was like those college water glass, those college
Yeah.
soda glasses. So I said, well, can I have another one? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, okay, noted. Cattleman's give zero fucks about quotas and ratios. They just give you whatever you
Well,
want.
I mean, have you ever watched that show Bar Rescue?
Yes.
It really is like that.
They don't care.
Well, or they don't know. They're
Yeah,
like,
that's
all I
true.
know is that they want alcohol. Like, if you
true.
haven't made it your life's work to perfect cocktails,
Yes.
like your husband, then you just pour a bunch of shit in there and hope it tastes good.
Hope it's all right, guys.
Especially if you don't drink it. I mean, if you're
Yes.
21 years old and you're going to college, are you going to be drinking gin and tonics?
No.
No.
You're drinking vodka.
You're
period.
drinking happy hour drinks that are pink and fruity and whatever.
Margaritas.
Or shots.
I'll have a strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, thank
with
you.
But can I put cream too, please? Because the rum burns.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay, so that's good. So what's your bad cocktail?
So my bad is which is so funny. I love tomato and alcohol combinations.
Yeah, you told
whether
us,
it's vodka
michelada.
or michelada, yeah. But I have had the worst hangover and puke session of my life on Bloody Marys.
Really?
Yes, and it's been a long fucking time. It's been like 15 years, at least.
Yes.
And I still can't bring. I think about it. I want it. I look at them. I've even bought the stuff to make them.
I'm going to do it this time.
I have a half gallon of vodka that has not ever been cracked, the seal, that I've had for years. I'm like, God, that's probably bad now. I don't know how long alcohol lasts. But I'm sure I'm never going to drink it. And I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot force myself to drink it again.
I'll throw up. I know it.
Well, it's just the thought of what I went through, you know?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I swear to God, I think I hallucinated. Like, it was that bad. It was one of those things where your body is doing its own thing. And your mind is like, this is happening. I can't stop it.
Yeah.
I could potentially die. There's not a goddamn thing you can do.
Have you, I mean, I've been hungover for like 2 days in a row.
Oh, I was definitely hungover for 2 days.
I couldn't believe how sick I was.
This was morning drinking.
So you drank all day.
Yes, we were on vacation.
Yes.
We own a rather large boat.
Yes.
And we were taking our boat down. It's a cabin cruiser. We were taking it down to the city.
Yes.
From Sacramento. We were taking the Delta. And I was excited. The whole boat was packed. I had been packing the boat for 2 days. We had everything you could possibly want to be comfortable and have a great time. And so I didn't have any responsibilities. At the time, I didn't have a child. You know, my daughter was already grown. And I started making Bloody Marys in the morning. And it was such a good idea.
You're like, cheers!
Until we got to like the first place where we stopped to get gas or whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't feel good.
Wait, do you think maybe it was also the sun?
I mean, it was 10 o'clock in the morning.
Were you outside sitting on the deck though?
Well, our boat is fully...
so there is no outdoor deck for you to hang out on?
Well, there could be, but we had the canvas all up and zipped closed because we were going into the bay.
Sometimes the sun will make
Absolutely,
it way...
yeah. No, I've done that too. Yes, oh God, that's the worst.
Yeah, me too. I thought I was dying.
I did that in Hawaii.
I literally thought I was dying. And I'm like, I think I have sunstroke. And I feel like I'm dying. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was like, I feel normal again. Oh my God.
You're so relieved you made it through.
God, I just didn't think I would. That was rum. That was a rum night.
Oh God, yeah. No, I've done that as well.
Yeah, my bad is a cocktail that I have never had it since and I'll never have it again. It's called a BMW.
Ooh.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, I think this woman invented it. My friend Kim, this was about 15 years ago or so, she said, hey, a friend of mine, because she was a nurse, friend of mine is having a naughty lady party. And
oh God, I remember those.
They were all the rage. And I said, okay. And she's like, and do you want to come with me? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? I don't care.
We all went to those back in the day. And they were never as good as you thought they were going to be, but okay.
So this woman, her house was a goddamn mansion in Loomis.
Oh.
It was in the middle of the sticks. She had horse property. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous house. And, I mean, you walk in, it's like marble foyer. And you're like, I don't belong here.
God,
Jesus.
yeah.
Welcome. Come into the kitchen. We're having BMWs. It's a themed drink tonight. And I'm like, okay. And Kim was driving. And so she wasn't going to drink.
She was good about that. Yeah.
Well, back then she wasn't. And so we,
oh, really?
we each had one. A BMW is Bacardi, Malibu rum, and whiskey.
Immediately gross. That's like Long Island iced teas. Yes. It's literally just a bunch of booze.
I tasted it, and I'm like, this doesn't even taste like alcohol. It was so good. And it was ice cold on the rocks in a solo cup.
Those are the scariest ones.
So scary. So
because they're so good.
It was Bailey's Malibu rum and whiskey. Yes, that's what it was. Bailey's. So normally I do not do the milky, creamy shit, but I tasted. I'm like, this is like a milkshake. It tasted like a milkshake. And
I do like Bailey's. I like it in coffee.
So I had one, and it was the only way I was getting through this party. And there was like 30 women there. It was a huge party. And so by the end of the evening, I think I had had 4.
Yikes.
I was hammered.
Oh, I bet. That's like 2 shots per drink.
Kim was drunk.
Oh God.
Ish. So
but not hammered like you.
I ended up spending like $100 on sex toys, and which is where God no, I bought vibrators, and and what was funny is we had to go into the bedroom to make our purchase because it was all discreet,
private, right?
And the girl was just like, I don't even give a shit what you buy, but thanks for coming, and you know whatever. Right. So I ended up buying the Silver Bullet, which to this day is the best vibrator I've ever had, and then I bought a normal. I bought a pink penile vibrator, which I threw away almost immediately because I hate them. I don't like vibrators.
Well,
I don't
think women really like. Well, maybe they do.
No, some women do. I just don't. And they're so sophisticated. They're like
God, have you ever watched the Middle of the Night show? Like,
what?
Oh my God,
what?
It's
what's the Middle of the Night show?
It's like QVC but for erotic toys.
No.
Yes,
what?
but it's only on at like 2 a.m.
on TV.
Yes.
They sell sex toys on television?
Absolutely, yes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes. And I'm not buying these, by the way.
With the internet, they still do this?
Absolutely.
What?
It's just like QVC. But because I don't really, if I were gonna buy some, I would buy them on. I buy them online. No.
It's all you're gonna call and go, so I'm really loving this product.
Right.
Thanks for having it on.
Well,
I'm
they were doing testimonials.
like, oh, this is Kelly from Indiana. Hi, this is Kelly. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I love the pink bunny. It was so cute. The ears felt amazing.
It was so inspiring. I just had to tell all my friends.
So, but the thing is I was intrigued to watch it because it had been so long since I had looked at those kind of things.
I just don't even need them. Usually,
I don't need them because we're married and we have sex on a regular basis.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I just don't. You know what? Maybe you do. Whatever. Yeah. It's just not. I haven't looked in a long time. So I'm watching these and I'm like, my God, we've come so far.
I know.
I was like, these products are like, you know,
They no longer.
I'm like, maybe I wouldn't even need to be married. I can have this thing.
They no longer look like lipsticks. They have a lot going for them.
It was amazing. Like, I was like, wow. I mean, and they were not cheap either.
No, they're not
Some
cheap.
of these were like $150 for.
And I'm like, wow. But I mean, aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth it?
Is your clitoris worth it? Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so I buy these two products and I'm super drunk. And I even told him, like, I'm really drunk, but I know what I'm doing. I'm buying this. And I had to, it was so long ago. I wrote a check.
Right.
So Kim and I leave.
I like writing checks because I don't get to do it very often.
I know, it's so weird.
It's fun. It's satisfying.
So we leave with products and we're driving and I go, do you really want to go home? She goes, I really don't want to go home. We found the shittiest bar we could find.
Oh my God, you weren't drunk enough?
We went in. I was beyond. We go into this bar. We somehow commandeer a pool table.
Oh Lord.
And I don't remember doing this, and maybe Kim did it. Neither one of us could recall. One of us called our husbands and said, "We need to come and get. You need to come and get us. We're too drunk.
We're like, we're dumb."
Next thing I know, and I remember dancing. There was a jukebox. I remember sitting at the bar drinking beer. I do know that.
Oh God.
But I don't remember playing pool, but apparently I did.
Oh God.
All of a sudden, I remember looking up and seeing Tom, her husband, and
You're
then
like, hey, look, it's Tom.
and then Daryl. I'm like, hey, look who's here! Oh my God, how did you know we were here? This is so crazy. And Daryl's just like, whoa.
He's like, you're fucked up.
I don't think he's ever seen me that drunk in my life. I don't remember going home. I do remember throwing up in bushes at some point, and I don't know where that was. It wasn't at my house because I don't have bushes.
This probably had to stop.
Dude, I was hungover for 2 days
Yeah,
solid, and I was
been.
like, help me.
Oh my
Never
God.
again.
And you hate yourself so bad.
Oh, I was
too.
so pissed off. I'm like, I am a mother. What am I
Oh, the guilt and
doing?
just the physical agony that you have to go through.
Showering hurt my body.
Everything is horrible.
I'm like, I don't want to.
And it's like the worst waste of 2 days ever.
I hate myself.
It's like, oh my God, I can't do anything. I can't clean my house. I literally can't do anything.
And then I come out later, 2 days later, you're like, what happened to me?
You're living in a robe.
And you feel so like vulnerable. You feel so fragile.
I know.
You're so fragile.
I don't know if it
Why
was
do you do
better.
that?
I mean, I haven't done that. Thank God.
I cannot remember the last time I've done that.
Right?
No,
I mean,
no.
thankfully, those episodes we can count still in our life. But at the same time, I'm trying to think of what was better or worse, like being married or being single, because I've done both.
Yeah.
I've been single. Sometimes being single, it's almost better because you're literally like, you can hide. No one knows.
No one knows. And then suddenly you just show up at work on Monday and you're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, whatever. If you get lucky, you did it on Friday night.
Yes.
You're normal by Monday.
Yes.
Versus if you're married, you know, it is kind of comforting to know that there's someone else that can be responsible because you're incapacitated.
I was just so grateful that someone called. I mean, I don't know if a
my
bartender
God.
called. I have no idea who called.
I'm glad someone did, because would you guys have?
No,
who knows?
Well, we actually said, we'll just take a cab. You know, and I'm like, because Uber did not exist back then, you know, so I legit
Well, I mean, that's how
cannot
poor
remember.
decisions sometimes get made, though, is you do things
really
and then you feel
does.
trapped and you're like, oh my God, what do we do? Do we gut? Do we
Do we
risk
risk it? Well, sometimes
Yeah, I
you have
mean,
to.
many people have,
Yeah,
but you know, honestly,
we've
I'm so
all-
grateful for Uber these days.
Oh my God, it's the best. Anyway, so that's the bad. So Uglee, Uglee.
That was pretty ugly, but
That was ugly.
God.
Do you have an ugly drink?
Well,
is
so
there a
is-
drink that you and I?
So is ugly like
It could be anything we want. It's something that relates to us.
Okay.
I have one that's ugly.
What?
The one time, I don't know if you went or not, but we, as the sisters, went out with Prithi, my sister-in-law.
God.
We went to we went to sushi downtown with Allison. She suggested the
She
place.
went to Crew with us?
It wasn't Crew. It was another place. And we all went because Prithia at the time wanted to really go out with us. Like, she's like, we all have to go out.
She wanted to be an UGG for about half a second.
And so we all went out, and Allison was like, we're having sake. And Prithia's like,
oh,
is that how you say that? And I'm like, I don't know.
Allison always invents her own accent.
And I'm like, I don't know, and I'm not sure.
Sake it to me, baby.
She's like, it's sake. And I'm like, okay.
Well, okay, to be fair, Allison was married to a Japanese man.
I'm not saying she's wrong.
No.
I'm just saying,
but
all of us were like, okay, well, I guess we're having sake. So she's like, you'll love the plum. And she was going on, like, she knew everything about it.
She does.
And so we were sipping it. I'm like, well, this tastes like rubbing alcohol to me.
Yeah,
but okay.
It's rice wine.
So Ugly, for me, that moment was we were all trying it. And we all hated it together collectively. And I was like, well, it's an acquired taste. I'm like, oh, is it? Because this is not tasting.
It might have been a bad one because I did go out with a girlfriend one time and she ordered the sake for us. It was her, like, she's like, meet me at this place. It's great. You'll love it.
Sake.
Yeah. And she's like, do you like sake? And I was like, well, I mean, I think I've had it like once and it was warm. And I'm like, it just wasn't my favorite.
No.
She's like, well, no. She's like, this one is ice cold and it's so good. She's
I'll
like,
do
we
that.
will be drunk if we continue. I was like, okay, well, we can't do that because
we're at lunch.
We both took half a day. No. We had had a meeting and she's like, let's not go back to work. And I'm like, yeah. So we were being really bad. So our spouses thought we were at work, but really it was like 2:00 in the afternoon and we were having sushi and drinking sake.
Oh God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, mine is not an Ugly, unfortunately. We didn't do it as Uggs. But I did do it with a girlfriend that at the time was an UGG to me.
Okay.
And
I'll let that pass, but I'm not really
I know, right?
struggling.
But the only reason why it was because I will never forget. It was there's a drink called a Purple Hooter.
Yeah.
Have you had one?
I have.
So it's
when Bobby McGee's used to be a bar here. The bouncer would let underage girls in because he was a disgusting pig.
Yeah.
And so we would take advantage. So me and a gaggle of my high school friends, we would go in there our senior year. And these disgusting 30-year-olds would buy us cocktails. And it was always Purple Hooters because they're really easy to drink.
Yes. So it's Chambord.
Yes.
I believe vodka.
Yes.
And I don't know if
I don't know what makes it purple, but
the Chambord.
Yeah.
It's that
I think it's just Chambord vodka. Although I just remember it being a little bit more than that because it was kind of a thicker.
Well, I think there's variations.
It wasn't.
I think it depends on where you go.
Yes.
You know, it's like one of those drinks where there's different variations of it. But yeah, we drank so many of those that my girlfriend, every time she would order one, she'd be like, "We'll take another Purple Hooter, hoo hoo," and she was like doing a choo-choo train thing with her hand. And, you know, in the beginning, because even when, I don't know how I'd managed to do it, but even if I'm totally polluted, like trash, like you were, I somehow managed to keep it together in public. At least I think I do.
I don't act like a fool.
Right.
Well, I don't know, man. That bar incident, I don't think I was acting
It's hard
normal.
to say. Yeah,
I don't think
when
I
you get
was.
to that point, it is hard to say because
I've never been that person, though, so I don't think I was.
Right. I think even at our worst,
I think I just look like an incredibly intoxicated person.
I'm sure you did. And that is so dangerous, by the way.
Oh, my God. Somebody could have taken advantage of me.
Easily. I mean, guys like that watch girls like us.
Daryl walked in and he's just like shaking his head. He's like,
oh
holy
my God.
shit.
Well, I'm glad you guys had the fortitude to call
Someone called. I think the bartender called.
Well, good.
Yeah.
For once in their life, you know? Do you know how many times I've seen people overserved and let them walk out the door and get into a car? I'm like, Jesus fuck, let me not be on the road when that person is. But yeah. So anyway, that was it. She was doing the choo-choo train. We both vomited at her house in different bathrooms. Thank God she had multiple bathrooms.
Oh my God.
It was one of the few times where I had to, because I'm semi-agoraphobic, even when I'm so fucking plastered, if my vehicle is at someone else's house, like we started there and we took one, I don't know. I'm like, I have a thing where I'm like, I have to go home. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go home. You know, I can't be here. And I had resigned myself. I'm like, you're stuck here. Like, you're not leaving.
You cannot drive.
You absolutely cannot drive.
If your eyes
throwing up.
If your eyes are crossing, you are not driving.
Right. So I was like,
to
okay,
me.
you know what? You're staying here. It is what it is. First thing in the morning when you're normal, you will fucking crawl out that door and go home.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was
awfully that is ugly. Okay, well, there we go. We'll have to come up with a new theme for the next time we do an ugly and awkward, or whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Good, bad, and ugly. But we are out of time, but do you have an awkward moment?
Oh, Lord.
I have one that I need to share
okay,
because I know I know when this show drops, I will be in Hawaii, and you damn well better believe there's going to be an awkward moment that I'm going to have to come back with to tell you. So I figured I should probably share the one that happened to me. And I didn't even tell you about this. Maybe next time I'll tell you about it. We threw Tyler a big dinner party for his birthday.
I knew you were having one.
Everybody who came had at least one dose.
Yeah.
And there was only 10 total, including most of our family. So it was it was fine. And so we did this, and they're all vegan. So we had this huge vegan thing.
Right.
So I go to Costco because I'm like, okay, I need like a fruit platter. I need something that's not
need like filler food.
Something else. And so
but you don't actually have to prepare. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I was going to prepare this big platter with fruits and nuts and cheese, vegan cheeses and whatever. And so they have at Costco these huge, like 5-pound clamshells of giant red grapes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're yummy. And I still have some. So there's so many. Well, they're so heavy that they have this big cardboard handle that's wrapped around the entire thing. And you pick it up by that. God. Well, maybe not. Maybe I just invented that. Maybe they're not a handle. Maybe you're supposed to like pick it up.
You just thought it was a handle.
I'm like, oh, a handle, a handy little thing. So I pick it up, and of course, immediately
it breaks.
It breaks, and grapes literally went everywhere.
Oh my God, it was probably like 5 pounds of grapes.
It was 5 pounds of grapes, and I was like, well, I guess I'm buying these. I said that very loudly.
What are you going to pick them off the floor?
So Daryl's watching, and he runs over, and he starts picking up all the grapes. I go, honey, we have to buy these. He goes, we are not buying these.
We are so not buying these. And I'm already thinking that. I'm like, wait, what?
I didn't know. I felt like, you're breaking
it. It's like, look, I'll pay for it, but I'm not taking these home.
He goes, we are not buying these. And I'm like, well, what do we do? He's like, well, we're cleaning them up. And I'm like, and I'm like, we're like, and then of course there's like one old lady like watching the whole thing happen.
Go away, bitch.
I know. And
God.
so it was so dumb. I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't a handle after all. And so he picks them up, then he sets them in the corner.
And of course there's no helping Costco person to come over and relieve you of this duty that you're feeling. Oh my God.
No, nobody gives a shit. So
yeah, good, clean it up because I'm not doing it.
And they're like, well, that or the rat will come and get it later.
Ugh.
God, no, there's no rats there. But anyway,
somebody it was slip on grapes.
So embarrassed. And I'm like, God damn it, why can't I just live life?
God, because you're ugly.
That's I know. Why. I hate it.
That would have happened to me. 100% that would have happened. I just couldn't.
I'm like, and I make shit up. I've had people say, we never realized you said that and we believed you, and it's not true because you made it sound so convincing. And I'm like, well, because I believed it because I thought that's the way it was. He's like, no, that's not how that works. And we've been working here for 20 years. We had no idea. We're like, is she right? And I'm like, I don't know.
What, because of the handle?
No, but anything. I'll just go. I was talking to somebody once when I worked in insurance, and I was talking to a client on the phone. And they said, well, is this what it is? I go, you know what? That sounds about right. I go, actually, you know what I think it is? And so I went through this whole narrative, and I had people auditing me. They were listening because I was a trainee.
Right.
So she comes over, and I loved her. And she came over, and she's like, okay, there's so much to unpack here. First of all, where did you get all of this information? And I said, it just sounded right. It's just so reasonable. I just figured that's probably what it is. She's like, okay, that's not how insurance works. She goes, I literally pulled out every book I had because I thought, where did she get this information? How does she know this is very sophisticated? And she goes, it doesn't exist. She goes, you had me doubting myself. She's like, it doesn't exist. She goes, now we have to call this gentleman back and tell him you were wrong.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Did they make you do it?
No, she did it.
Oh, see, my boss makes me do it.
She's
like, well, you need to call him back. He's like, this is a good learning skill for you.
See, now,
I'm like, shut the fuck up. You
she
just don't want to do it.
Normally she would have, but it was like day 2.
Right.
And so she's like, no, I think I'm going to have to handle this one because we really went down the rabbit hole with this person. And he is probably very confused as to why things are so reasonable now with an insurance company. So...
Because they never are, right?
So it's shit like that. So when I see a handle, I'm like, oh, this is a handle. This is a handle. And it's like, no, it's a wrapping that says these are grapes. It's not a handle.
It's a protective covering.
It's just a covering so people won't pop the thing open. But you thought it was a handle. I immediately picked
oh my God, that's so funny.
Stupid. Anyway,
all right. What happened to me? I would have done the same thing.
Well, you and I could talk for much longer. Do we have anything else to say? Oh, when, so mom had a procedure.
Yeah.
And our stepdad, thank you. And our stepdad sent me photographic evidence that our mom survived. So.
Oh. God, that's cruel.
Oh, it's cruel. I'll show you the photos.
Photographic evidence that she survived.
Here's one. This is right after recovery.
She's smiling. She actually doesn't look as bad.
No, here's day 2 because he sent me another one.
See, she looks worse in that picture than
Yeah.
she did in the first one.
Yeah, because she's got
Because it's setting in.
Yes, the pain is setting in. So I sent them to Paula, and I said, so Paula sent me pictures of mom just so that he could see what she looks like or whatever. And Paula's like, why the fuck does he do that? He said that he takes the worst photos of her. Why?
Because he's like Daryl, where he's like, you look beautiful, honey.
Always. And she goes, I would have taken that phone and thrown it. And I'm like, she's
bedridden.
she doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
It's not like I'm posting that shit.
She's on so many drugs right now.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Later on,
know.
she'll be like, delete those immediately.
She will be like, how dare you take those
She's
photos?
like, who did you send those to? Did you put those on Instagram?
I know.
Well, I wanted to send them to the friends.
God.
Kill you,
All
old
right.
man.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.